Adam Hancock, who's following developments for us from Singapore. Good to see you again, Adam. We know that as China has been relying on its own vaccines to combat this crisis, but we are seeing a surge of infections across the country now. Is there any indication that perhaps Beijing will eventually allow these foreign vaccines to be used on its own population?
Well, we're not really seeing a strong indication of that at the moment. Throughout this pandemic, they have decided to stick with the domestic vaccines that are made in China. And there are concerns over how good those vaccines are and how effective they are against these newer variants, such as Omicron, and the new variants that are sweeping across the country at the moment. The vaccines that are coming in from Germany, they will be the first mRNA vaccines to be used in China. But as you mentioned, they'll only be available for German nationals and German expats. It is hoped that they could also be given to other foreign nationals at some point. But at the moment, no sign that your everyday Chinese person is going to be able to use them or get access to these vaccines. And that is causing concern because, as I mentioned, there are worries about the vaccines. There's also worries about medical shortages at the moment within China as well. You might remember at the start when China dropped some of their zero COVID restrictions, a lot of people were queuing up outside of pharmacies and medical facilities, trying to get their hands on medication for fever and for colds and flu. And there's now really a shortage of those goods. So much so that even here in Singapore, it's getting difficult to get those goods because people are buying them up and then go queue up and send them off to friends and relatives and business partners in China. So it's clear that there's somewhat of a shortage of medication in China, and many people trying to get their hands on this as infections grow.
We're also seeing dramatic images emerge from China of queues in front of crematoriums, hospitals being overwhelmed. This, of course, comes barely 2 weeks after China dropped its strict zero COVID policies. How concerning is the situation in China now? We know the World Health Organization has made some remarks on that, hasn't it?
Yeah, they've expressed concern. They've made the comment that ICU units are filling up fast. And they're appealing to China really to provide more information because we're getting very different pictures. And we're getting an official line out from the authorities, which is telling us one thing, and then we're hearing anecdotal evidence and news reports, which is painting a very different picture of the situation. And I think that is adding to the concern. Only a handful of deaths have officially been reported this week in China. But then we are hearing these reports from funeral houses and crematoriums that they've never been busier, videos of cars queuing up outside, and hospitals seem to be struggling as well. A large hospital in Shanghai said that its staff should prepare for a tragic battle with COVID, which tells you everything you need to know. And you only have to look on social media to see videos of emergency departments filling up. So It's a worrying time.
Adam Hancock, thank you so much for bringing us the latest there from Singapore.